Good morning, everyone. So, today we are going to discuss the last topic of this chapter, inverse of a matrix. So, you already know how to compute the inverse using the concept of determinant, but today we are going to see it using RREF. So, quick definition. So, let A be a square matrix of order n, then a matrix B is inverse of A if their multiplication is identity. So identity matrix we have discussed many times. So diagonal entries are 1 and all other entries are 0. If such a matrix B exists, then A is invertible or non-singular matrix and B is called the inverse of A. Otherwise, A is a singular matrix. So if A is not invertible, we also call it a singular matrix. Inverse of a matrix is unique. I'm not going to detail of all of this. And since it is unique, we can choose a notation for it. So A inverse is the notation. Few results, everyone knows it. The question which we are looking for, that how do we know if a matrix has an inverse? And if it has an inverse, then how can we find it? Especially again using RREF, which means how RREF can be helpful in finding the inverse of a matrix. Okay, so few results related to the RREF. So the following statements are equivalent. So equivalent means one implies the other. So if A is invertible, then AX equal to B has a unique solution, because AX is equal to B. Multiplying by A inverse on both the sides, then you get X is equal to A inverse B, which is unique. So if the solution is unique, which means for the homogeneous system, the only possible solution is the trivial solution. And in this case, the RREF of A is always the identity matrix. So you can see the example whenever we are getting the unique solution, then you can remember that row A, rank A is equal to rank AB is equal to n, and because of which, since it is n, there are n pivot entries, above and below all entries are 0, and therefore RREF of A is identity. And from 4 again you can go back to 1. When RREF is identity, then we get a unique solution and A is invertible. Okay, so how to find the inverse of a matrix using RREF? So let us consider A is a square matrix of order n. The first step is to write the augmented matrix A and In. In is the identity matrix of order n. Now we have to transform this A In into a matrix CD, where CD is in RREF. So this matrix is not in RREF. We will see the examples. So you have to compute its RREF, and that gives you CD. Now if C is equal to identity, then D is A inverse. So now see what happened. So A is In. Now what you do, that you transform into CD. Yes, and we are saying if this CD is same as In, then D is A inverse. So what we have to see is that this A get transformed into In, and when A get transformed into In, when we multiply A by A inverse, it is same as doing the elementary row operation such that A get transformed into In, which is equivalent to A inverse A. These operations, when you apply on identity, since it is an identity, applying these operations means that you are multiplying identity matrix with A inverse. So this is why when A get transformed into In, then In get transformed into A inverse. So write the augmented matrix In, compute its RREF. In RREF, if C is equal to In, then the matrix is invertible and D is equal to A inverse. Otherwise, A is singular, or we can say that A inverse does not exist. Let's see some examples. Using row reduction method, find the inverse of A if exists. So the first step is to write In. So I wrote it like this, AI3, because order is 3. Now you can see that this matrix is not in REF or RREF. Compute its RREF. Try yourself, and its RREF comes out to be this one. So 3 pivot entries, and below and above the pivot entries, all entries are 0. So the matrix is in RREF. Now this is equal to identity, and therefore this becomes A inverse. So this is the required A inverse. One more question. Determine if A is invertible. If yes, compute its inverse. The same procedure follows. Write the augmented matrix AI3. Compute its RREF. Try yourself. Its RREF comes out to be this one. Even this is not in the form of RREF, but I can easily make this one equal to 1. The important point to notice here is that it can never be equal to I3, which means because of this 0, which means that the inverse does not exist. An exercise is given, try yourself. So this ends chapter 1, one of the simplest chapter of this course. In the next chapter, we will start a little bit difficult but far more interesting chapter. And we introduce the concept of vector spaces. Keep looking for the lectures. Thank you very much.